Fingerprints and facial recognition, technologies that once felt like sci-fi, are now part of our daily lives. Whether it's unlocking your phone, accessing your bank account, or even speeding through airport security, these biometric systems are everywhere. But here's the question. Are these methods already becoming obsolete? With new advancements in tech, will your fingerprint and face soon be outdated security measures? Today, we're diving into the future of biometrics. Hey everyone, welcome back. In today's video, we're exploring the rise of biometric technology, its potential downfall, and, more importantly, what might replace it. Will fingerprints and facial recognition still secure your data in 5 years? 10 years? Or is something better on the horizon? Let's take a look at why biometrics, once considered groundbreaking, may not be the future after all. 1. The rise of biometric tech. Biometric identification goes way back. Fingerprint analysis started as early as the 19th century for criminal investigations. By the early 2000s, the concept of using fingerprints to unlock devices started gaining momentum. Then, in the 2010s, facial recognition technology leaped forward. Apple introduced Face ID with the iPhone X in 2017, and it was a game changer. No more passcodes, just a quick glance at your screen, and boom, you're in. For many of us, it felt like the future had arrived. It wasn't just phones either. Airports, financial institutions, government agencies, and even social media platforms embraced biometrics as a convenient, secure way to verify identity. Today, it's everywhere. 2. The limitations of biometrics. But like all technologies, biometrics come with flaws, some of them serious. Fingerprints and facial recognition, despite their convenience, are not invulnerable. In fact, they have weaknesses that hackers have exploited time and time again. Let's talk about how fingerprints, for example, are easier to hack than you might think. Ever touch a glass? That's all a hacker might need to lift your fingerprint and replicate it for unauthorized access. A study at Michigan State University even showed how high-resolution photos of fingerprints can be used to spoof biometric systems. And what about facial recognition? There have been documented cases where facial recognition has been tricked by something as simple as a detailed 3D mask or even high-quality photos. Think it sounds far-fetched? In 2019, researchers from AI startup Retina demonstrated how they bypassed airport facial recognition systems using simple masks. Even more concerning, facial recognition systems can sometimes fail entirely, misidentifying people of color at a much higher rate than others. These flaws are not just technical, they raise major ethical issues. When technology impacts people differently based on skin tone, we have to ask, is this the future we want? 3. Privacy concerns with biometrics. And then there's the privacy issue. Unlike passwords, your face and fingerprints are always on display. You leave your fingerprints everywhere you go, and your face is seen by every camera. This has made biometrics a major target for surveillance, raising concerns about how much of your personal data is being tracked without your knowledge. Countries like the US and the UK are already rethinking how facial recognition is used in public spaces. Cities like San Francisco have banned its use by law enforcement, citing the potential for abuse. What happens when your biometric data is collected and shared without your consent? Are we sacrificing too much privacy for convenience? Think about it. Your fingerprint and facial data can't be changed like a password. If they're stolen or compromised, what can you do? These are the questions driving the development of more secure, privacy-focused biometric alternatives. 4. Emerging alternatives in biometric tech. So if fingerprints and facial recognition are starting to show their age, what comes next? Well, the future is already here. Enter next-gen biometrics. Let's start with behavioral biometrics. Instead of just scanning your fingerprint or face, these systems analyze how you use your devices. Everything from how fast you type to the way you hold your phone, even the rhythm of your walking. Imagine your phone recognizing you based on the unique way you scroll through Instagram or the specific pressure you apply to your screen. It might sound far-fetched, but behavioral biometrics are being rolled out in security apps as we speak. Banks and financial institutions are increasingly using them to combat fraud. Beyond behavior, there's voice recognition, iris scanning, and even biometric implants. Companies like Biohacks in Sweden are pioneering microchip implants that can store identification data right under your skin, allowing you to unlock doors, make payments, and more, all with a wave of your hand. Now, this might seem a little too Black Mirror for some people, and sure, the idea of having a chip implanted in your body is controversial. But for others, it's a natural evolution of convenience and security. 5. Security and ethical concerns for new biometrics. Of course, with these advancements come new challenges. As we move toward behavioral and implant-based biometrics, we face fresh ethical and security dilemmas. Who controls this data? How secure is it? And more importantly, can it be hacked? Critics argue that while these technologies may be harder to spoof than fingerprints or faces, they are not invulnerable. Behavioral patterns can change due to injury or illness, and data breaches could expose far more personal information than we ever intended. The ethical questions around biometric implants are even more complex. Imagine a future where your body is the key to everything. What happens if that data is used to track your every movement, or worse, manipulated to control what you have access to? 6. The future of biometrics. Will fingerprints and faces fade away? So, will fingerprints and facial recognition become obsolete? Maybe. As security threats evolve and privacy concerns grow, we're likely to see a shift toward more secure, adaptive, and less invasive forms of biometric authentication. But here's the real question. Are we ready for what's next? Whether it's behavioral biometrics, voice recognition, or implants, we're entering a world where technology becomes more integrated with our bodies and lives than ever before. While the convenience is tempting, we need to carefully weigh the risks. How much privacy are we willing to give up for security? What does the future of identity and data protection look like in a world where your body itself becomes the key to everything? So, what's the verdict? Biometrics have undeniably changed the way we secure our devices, data, and even our personal identities. From the early days of fingerprint scanners to the seamless integration of facial recognition into our everyday tech, we've become accustomed to the convenience. But as we've explored today, convenience doesn't come without its costs. With increasing vulnerabilities, hackers lifting fingerprints, facial recognition being fooled by simple tricks, and the mounting ethical concerns surrounding privacy, it's clear we're standing at a critical crossroads. The next wave of biometric technology promises to address some of these issues, offering more security through behavioral tracking and even the controversial concept of biometric implants. But this shift raises important questions. As we move forward, how much of our personal information are we comfortable giving up? If your body becomes the key to your entire digital life, what happens if that key falls into the wrong hands? And what about the growing influence of corporations and governments in tracking our data? Who ultimately controls the information tied to our fingerprints, faces, and behaviors? The future of biometrics is exciting, no doubt, but it's also filled with potential pitfalls. We're entering an era where technology will be more integrated with our lives and our bodies than ever before. So, will we embrace this next-gen tech or push back, demanding more control over our personal data? At the end of the day, the future of biometrics and your personal security isn't just in the hands of tech companies. It's in your hands. So, are you ready to trust these new technologies, or is there something more we need to consider? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's keep the conversation going.